Over my 10-year career running sales and marketing agencies and also acting as a sales and marketing consultant, and over the 21-year career of my business partner, the Evil Genius, as a copywriter, mentor, and sales and marketing consultant, we've both focused exclusively on outbound marketing. We've together been responsible for thousands of phone calls, probably more, hundreds of thousands of emails and direct messages, and certainly millions of direct mail pieces going out in the post. And now EBG is going to save you 30 years of trial and error in this video that he has created today. I'm merely introducing it. So you can save millions in ad spend and get the insights that we've now gained without the hassle, headaches, and problems we've faced over that 30 plus combined year career. In today's video, John, the Evil Genius, is going to share with you the pros and cons that we've discovered of outbound marketing, the 3 must-have foundations of any outbound marketing campaign, whether it's email, phone call, DMs, direct mail, whatever. 3 must-have foundations, why outbound is the most important form of marketing in any business. We're then going to share some frameworks. So we're going to share exactly how we send our DMs. We're going to share our outbound framework to warm leads because they need to be treated differently. Our very contrarian cold email system that is very much against the status quo of anything else you may have seen online. We're then going to share with you a drop dead beginner friendly postcard system so you can start sending shit in the post to get those hard to reach top 10% prospects in your market. And then we're going to wrap it up by sharing the overarching system of all of our outbound systems and tactics. So we have tactics that sit within our overarching outbound system. Anyway, that's enough of me. Into the video with John.
What is outbound marketing? Basically, it's where we initiate contact directly with the prospect and invite them into a dialogue with us. The typical quid pro quo outbound marketing is an opportunity to progress the dialogue to a sales presentation. Now, I'm saying that because if you're in call control, certainly in the next week or two, you'll come to this point because we are very big, obviously, on charging up front and charging for initial consultations. That's kind of your stabilizers, your learning wheels. And it's what I want everyone to do until they learn to do differently. It's like, you can't break the rules until you really know what the rules are and understand them at a deep level. But there comes a point, and particularly with outbound marketing, and particularly when we're selling high value stuff, where if we're inviting someone to talk to us, it would be very difficult, not impossible, it would be difficult to get them to pay for an initial consultation. But no matter that notwithstanding, we still always want quid pro quo. And by quid pro quo, I mean, we need to move our needle forward every single time we have an interaction with a prospect to a conclusion, whether it's a yes or a no, doesn't matter. But there is absolutely no point in having communication that goes back and forth and does not progress that sale to a yes or a no. Otherwise, you're wasting time. So if we can't get money for it, or we're not going to get money, it's difficult to get money, we have something else. Now, in this particular case, when we're outbound marketing, most often our quid pro quo is the opportunity to progress the dialogue to a sales presentation. And that's exactly what I was doing this morning. I sent out an email that says, want to make 2023 your best year? Hit reply if you do. Guy replied backwards and forwards. I invited him to a call because he passed the first 3, was only the first 2 triage criteria. Can I help you? Do I want to help you? And he passed the 3rd one by agreeing to get on a call with me, which he knew because I said so. If you're a fit and I think I can help you, I might invite you to join one of my programs. And that's what he did this morning to the tune of a lot of money. So that's how it works. You get quid pro quo. You always get quid pro quo. I'm not going to say more about that now. Those in call control will be either listening to it this week or next week. I can't remember which. So examples of outbound marketing. Cold calling. I did 25 cold calls on a rainy Wednesday afternoon, probably 20 years ago. I'm never going to do it again in my life unless I really have to. But there's no doubt it works. Absolutely none whatsoever. Cold email, something we're implementing right now. No results to speak of as yet, particularly. But that's because Connor's having technical problems setting things up. Connor always has such a thing. It's okay. He's only young. Cold DMs, more familiar to most. If you hear him come back, look, I complain. more familiar to most of you in that you probably get them on LinkedIn, but I bet not many of you are sending them out. Really, a lot of this comes down to having a thick skin and being a little tougher about things with yourself. Right? Postcards and other direct mail, outbound marketing, you are sending it out to them. Knocking on doors.
Hey, real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt the video, but if you're enjoying it so far and you're interested in learning other ways to do your outbound marketing, more specifically using direct mail, then you should consider joining us inside the Well-Fed Renegades. It's a group for renegades who want to do their sales and marketing different and get off the social media hamster wheel. For example, if you're enjoying the video so far, you can come into the classroom and you can find this complete course called The Death of Social Media. It's 6 parts, it's about an hour total, and it shows you exactly why social media is giving you diminishing returns and is not the best way if you're only looking to sign, 10 or 15 clients that are going to pay you a lot of money. Social media isn't the place to do that. You should be doing direct mail. This course goes into that and gives you even more campaigns that you can implement other than just the postcard campaign you're going to discover in today's video. Anyway, the link is in the description below. Well-Fed Renegades. See you there.
Remember that? They are all examples of outbound marketing. Now, the problem with outbound marketing is there isn't one. The problem is with the business community because most people won't do it, right? It's one of these things everyone could do. I think everyone should do with rare exception. I mean, if you're a news agent, maybe that's not even the best idea, but then you could canvas out to your local area to see anyone's papers delivering. There are very few businesses I can think of where outbound marketing won't be effective and actually will be more effective, as we'll come to in a moment. The problem is the business community there. It's uninformed and misinformed. The scale of misinformation or is it a scale or a gradient? The scale of misinformation goes from people saying it's unethical, it puts pressure on people, it is icky, it's salesy, they're too squeamish, all the way from it doesn't work. The future is social media. Now you will see people a lot on social media, particularly LinkedIn, saying how LinkedIn, social media, they are new marketing paradigms. The old way of doing things doesn't work. By telling that to the 2 of the last 3 people I had on Zoom for sales calls and closed two of the 3 on a high-end program, both came from funnels that don't work. Go figure. So they're uninformed and misinformed. They are caught in what I call pumpkin thinking, meaning, put a pumpkin in the jar, it won't get any bigger than the jar, it won't go to a different shape from the jar. But pumpkin thinking on social media is you are inextricably caught up with the thinking other people have about how you should be running your business. Even though these people are suffering from the same problems and challenges you are and haven't solved them, you're still asking them for advice or at least listening to their fucking opinions on it. Why? Pointless, stupid. Don't do it. All right. But you get caught in it. You can't help it. You can't help. If you read and engage in these kinds of conversations, you cannot help but have it affect you. Anyone seen the film Cruising with Al Pacino? Well, very old film now, but he's an undercover cop and he joins the gay community to try and find a murderer who's killing gay guys. Well, part of the sub-story is that he starts to get into the gay lifestyle. I don't know, actually shags blokes or lets them shag him, but he gets very close on at least one occasion and he can't help but get drawn into it. Well, that's not a commentary of mine on homosexuality. I don't give a shit. I mean, never say never, any hole's a goal and all that. But what it does say is if you start engaging in certain behavior with certain people, happened to me when I was a bouncer, that's why I stopped doing it. You can't help but be sucked into it. When it's happening to you on social media or LinkedIn, I haven't so much as logged into a LinkedIn platform or any other social media for, other than Twitter, but that's different from my publishing the book, for months. And I feel so much better for it. So they're influenced by their echo chambers. So it's not just everyone else, it's in particular their contacts, their regular commentators, which one would it be? I can't remember. But anyway, their echo chamber will influence them. And the thing about an echo chamber, what makes it even more insidious than normal background noise is it's supportive, isn't it? Well, everyone likes being supported. So you get a bit of extra dopamine because you're having your opinions and your views validated. Very fucking dangerous. and they're unskilled in sales. Because, like it or not, if you're doing outbound marketing, with rare exception, you need to be skilled in sales. All right. That is enough to put most people off already. Well, that's a really good reason I can think of it. You know, it's the number one reason I can think of for learning to be good at sales and then doing it, because no fucker else is. And they're lacking in courage because, you know, you get told no a lot. So downsides, because there are downsides. Conversion rates are generally lower because you're going out to them. So you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your little corner. It's more complex to plan, manage, and execute, especially if you go into heavy stuff like direct mail with complex funnels, shock and awe packages and things like that. It's generally more expensive up front. See above, you know, shock and awe package might cost you. Now, if you're doing, say, an M82, beg your pardon, M82, then you might be sending a book and a letter and a pre-programmed mobile phone with £10 of credit from Tesco. That's in total going to knock you back about 30 quid. Most people won't even dream of doing that because they don't understand marketing, they don't understand their numbers. I've got a client right now who's just done this. I don't know if you use the phone or not, but basically just done this, got himself a nice little fucking client, several grand in the pocket. He's on a retainer. Good. They've got earnest money and he's on a retainer of sorts. So it works, but no getting around the fact you have to put money up front, which you don't have to do on social media, do you? All you've got to do is, you know, find out your dirty washing, be prepared to air that, present yourself as your raw, true, authentic, vulnerable self, and, you know, sit back and wait for the leads to roll in. Not. It requires a multidisciplinary skill set. You've either got to be good on the phone, got to be good at selling, got to be good at copywriting, maybe if you want to do it by letter. You got to understand marketing. You got to understand the business side of things because, you know, you're spending money. So it's a little bit more dangerous than just sitting on LinkedIn, being your true authentic self, best version of your fucking vulnerable cop, all that kind of stuff. It's a tougher sale. So you need to be more skilled. And why is it tougher sale? For the same reasons I said before. You're reaching out to them. But look, if you do your homework properly, like we teach you in Core Control, for instance, and even in Core 28, you do your avatars. In fact, it's in Well-Fed Freelancer. You do your avatars and you do your pain, your heaven and hell, your scripture. This becomes a lot easier because you're only talking to the right people. Most people don't bother doing that and still wonder why they're struggling. There's a word for those people. That word is stupid. You need a thicker skin and a smaller ego because you will get told no a lot. Man, you will swear at you and call you names and all those kinds of things. Upsides. Lots of upsides. You get better clients. Why? Because you picked them. They haven't picked you. You get to choose whom you reach out to. So not only are you possibly deciding is this person a fit or not, you're going out and saying, this person looks like a fit. Let's do some digging. Let's do some stalking. That's me. You can see in the bushes outside your house in camo. I'm watching you get undressed at night. That kind of thing. You have more control because you're in charge of everything. You decide who you reach out to, yada, yada, yada. You decide how you reach out to them, how they get in touch with you, what the process is. It enables much more powerful positioning. Now, here's something really cool. There's no doubt that inbound marketing is very good for positioning if you can get it right. The common belief outbound marketing lowers your positioning is absolutely wrong. Absolutely unequivocally wrong. So if you think it makes you desperate and weak, that's a function of your approach, how you do it. Now, if you go to someone, send them a message to them, how you do it, maybe you send them a cold email. Okay, you pick them, recorded a video, maybe a screen walkthrough of their website or their business as a whole, maybe get their social media up, maybe they got a book, and you just run through it. So you tell them where they're making the mistakes. You not tell them how to fix it. And you say, look, I'm thinking that this doesn't want to help you. Why don't you still find and talk to him? That's not weak positioning. That's confidence. Especially if you do what one of my guys does, to say, and if I've wasted your time, I'll pay 200 quid for charity of your choice. That's not weak positioning. What do I know? It's infinitely scalable, as Connor would say. People who actually know the English language, it's scalable. Connor doesn't know the English language. It's infinitely scalable. All right. You can do it as much as you like. You can send out one email. You can send out 10,000 emails. You can send out 1 million emails. Doesn't matter. The only thing you're going to be paying is maybe a bit extra cost of delivery. Same with letters. Send as many as you want. One of my clients in the past sent out over a million tear sheets I designed. Got 8,000 new customers, and that means people who are paying him money. Can't complain at that, can you? It's infinitely scalable. Whereas inbound marketing isn't. Yeah, it's not scalable at all. It's just, I mean, it's scalable in the sense that you can get as many inbound inquiries as you like. It's not up to you, but you know, no control over it. It comes in or it doesn't. You don't get floods of them. Lends itself to better structure and process because you are in control of the entire dialogue, unlike inbound marketing where you're waiting passage for someone to speak to you, like a spider at the center of her web. There's far less competition because no fucking do it. They're all sitting there on LinkedIn being our aforementioned true, authentic, vulnerable self. And it's character building because of all the shit you get for doing it. Now, some general characteristics. It will live and die by these three things. First, your list selection. The quickest way to go broke in direct mail, which is quintessentially outbound marketing, is to send the same thing to an untested list. The quickest way to go broke, to send the same thing to an untested list. With direct mail, what you should be doing is sending out your feelers first, maybe a postcard, get a response, then send the more expensive thing. Maybe they go through 2 or 3 iterations before you send them the really expensive thing. Don't know. It depends on your numbers, depends on your business. That's what I meant when I said, well, it lends itself to more structure and more order, but also it's more complex to manage. Market match. What are you saying and to whom are you saying it? I don't care how good a copywriter you are. I don't care how good a salesperson you are. I don't care how good your fucking sausage is. The finest pork sausage in the world. If you try and sell it to a bunch of vegetarians or vegans, you ain't going to sell a single sausage, no matter how good it is. The market to message match. And your willingness to sell and not be put off by frequently being told no and often somewhat forthrightly. Okay, to sell. Now, I say this because if you want to sell something at a high end, and by high end, I'm talking probably 3K and above. I wouldn't say always, because Connor and I have done it differently. And I do know people who claim to have been selling 20K coaching programs just over Facebook Messenger. No proof that it's not true. I'll take them at their word. But they are outliers. That is unusual. And I didn't see their offer, so I can't comment on it. But for the most part, if you want to sell something for more than a couple of $1,000, you're going to have to speak to somebody. And if you're going to speak to them with the aim of selling them something, you have to learn to sell. Fortunately for those guys on Core Control, week 11, I'm teaching you exactly how to sell using the same script, which is actually more of a framework because it's not something you follow slavishly, but it's a points of directions, if you like a map, high-level map. Okay, a framework of how to run a sales call, the same sales call I've used over the last, pretty much with a few tweaks and tests, changes over the last 4 or 5 years to sell, probably over 100 grand in one-off payments, I guess, possibly, but certainly well over 150, 200 grand in ongoing continuity fees, elite, main bill, mastermind stuff. Yeah, it works. Don't get 100%. Sometimes you waste your time, but the quid pro quo was you get the opportunity to sell. I'll tell you right now, there's nothing quite as good. Well, very few things that don't involve women and nudity, as far as I'm concerned. Very few things is quite as good as having someone say, when you say to them, are you in or you're out? Having them say, yeah, I'm in. That's an incredibly good moment because you've done your job properly. You've found someone, you've convinced them, or that you've allowed them to see their pain is so unpleasant that they're going to do something about it, and you're the bunny to do it for them. Okay, because we sell transformationally, and those of you in Core Control will know this, or if you're still not come to it yet, you will know this. We don't sell transactionally. We first get to the root of their pain and their problem. So we're telling someone, you're in pain. I can see you're in pain. I can solve your pain. Are you in or you out? I'm in. Imagine it. Unfortunately, like I say, it doesn't often involve ruining nudity, but you can't have everything, can you? So why is it so important? Well, most people are focused on inbound marketing, aren't they? I've already said this. They're fixated on social media. The idea is you post your vulnerable, raw, real, and authentic value-giving drivel and hope your ideal prospects will get in touch with you. Honestly, they believe this is going to happen. And I suppose it does on occasion. But the kind of client you get is very random because you're not filtering for the kind of person you want to do business with. You're filtering for the kind of person who's going to respond to your vulnerable, raw, real, and authentic value-giving drivel. Okay? So do you really, it's like a pity shag, you know? Do you really want someone doing business with you because they feel sorry for you? Seriously. The answer is no, by the way. You don't. It does work to some extent, some strange values of the word work, but it's not particularly good. It really isn't. But everyone's doing it. I was thinking before in the do better, and I'm going to keep saying this. It certainly forms quite a part of the well-fed business owner book. People are stuck in pumpkin thinking. They are entrammeled with a fixed way of thinking. If something doesn't include or revolve around the internet, it's not real. It doesn't work. It's not as good. It's the poor cousin to something that you do online. It's a little bit like in the 60s and 70s. If you're a rock band, if you hadn't made it in Britain, you hadn't made it anywhere. No matter how successful you were or how much money you made, you had to make it in Britain. Even Kiss came to Britain in the 70s because they wanted to be seen to have made it in Britain. I think they failed actually. Right? So by the same token, if you've not succeeded online, you're almost like, nah, nothing good about that. Why? It makes no sense whatsoever. The internet is just a communications medium. Yes, it's fast, it's convenient, it's bi-directional. You can do some great interactive stuff on it. But so what? Why are people so fixated on it? Well, I'll tell you why they're fixated on it. Because everyone else is fixated on it. I said before, you want to change your results, you want to change your behavior, actions. You want to change your actions and your behavior, you need to change your thinking. Well, let's start changing your thinking now about outbound marketing, and especially outbound marketing, which is not online. All right. So why is it so important? Again, what are we doing here? Unfortunately, it's largely targeted. What I was saying now, John, you're making shit up, aren't you? Right. It's free. Unfortunately, it's largely untargeted. People are just putting their stuff out there. It's lazy because you just write stuff, usually not kind of semi-narcissistic, self-aggrandizing, navel-gazing bollocks that nobody's actually interested in, except they want your attention. The quid pro quo for them being when their time comes, you'll give them your attention. Back scratching, you know, it's reactive. You react to incoming inquiries. Often you react to things other people have said. It's passive. You sit there, center of your web, waiting for replies to come in. And it's what everyone's doing, which means it's highly competitive. I was talking to a copywriter about various things, joining us maybe, and I asked him what he was going to do, and he told me, and my question was very simple. Right? Every copywriter on the planet is doing what you're doing. Yet you say you want better results than they get. And, you know, you're not bad. You're perhaps not the best in the world, but you're not the worst either. You're good. Okay, you're okay. What makes you think you doing what they're doing is going to get you exponentially better results than they get? All of them what you're getting now. Of course, he had no answer because there is no answer. Right? It's just not going to happen. So if you were doing what everyone else is doing, don't be surprised when you get pretty much the same results. And when you look around you, your peers in your business, whatever niche you're in, just ask yourself, okay, most people are doing this, whatever it is. Then think to yourself, do I want that for myself? And if you don't, then why the ever living fuck are you doing what they're doing? You need to do something different. I would say to most people, what you've been doing over the last 12 months, okay, has got you to where you are now in the last 12 months. That's your results are a direct response, direct consequence of the work you've done in the last 12 months. Are you happy with that? No. Well, just do anything different. I don't care what it is. Just do something completely different. Because what most people do when they want to improve is they will do more of what they're already doing. So they get incremental improvements. Or maybe they'll tweak it and test it a little bit. What they won't do is go right back to ground zero, rip it all down and start with a fundamentally different perception of themselves and their business and build it differently from the ground up, which is what you have to do, which is what we do in Core Control, of course. A pertinent quote for you from the great man himself. What everyone else does, do the opposite. The majority of the way is wrong. Earl Nightingale. When you see people like Tony Robbins, Bob, what's his name? Bob Proctologist, the guy who just died not long ago. All the rest of these people, they all stand on the shoulders of Earl Nightingale. He was the original of the modern day self-help people, experts, whatever you like to call it. And his stuff was pretty much based on what Napoleon Hill did. So I guess Napoleon Hill is the early forerunner of it all. But Earl Nightingale was the one who really kicked it off and made it mainstream. everyone else you see since then, including me, stands on the shoulders of this great man. And a great man he was. If you get his stuff, I would just say, if you see something of Earl's sale, buy it, because you won't go far. So do the opposite. If no one else is doing outbound marketing, then we'll do it. So now I'm going to go through some very simple outbound marketing frameworks. Okay. Please bear in mind they are frameworks, which means they are not verbatim. Don't worry about getting the words right, as in copying them. Don't worry about, exactly, that won't work exactly in that way for me because my business is different. It's a framework, it's a principle, it's an idea. Get that into your fucking collective thick heads. So in your LinkedIn outgoing connections, this is one we've used before. I think this was during COVID. Greetings, just connected to grow my network before we will die of plague and stuff as you do. Evil genius. Nothing outgoing about that, nothing outbound about that, right? So I used to do this. Most freelancers have a tough time business. There's a free book to help you. That was the free book. And that was the promise at the end. That, I think, is exactly 300 characters. That was my connection message. Most people will be squeamishing, clench their buttocks so tight you couldn't get a tiny little finger up there rather than do that. But why? If someone's going to take offense at that, they're probably not going to be much of a client. They're just not. Okay. Nobody who's a real, genuine business owner objects to being sold to. And I'm not talking about people being pushy, knocking on your door and sticking your foot in so you can't close it. But this is just up front. I'm growing my network. I want to fucking grow my business. I've got a book to help you. It's free. Don't like it. So I don't think I had a single bad response to this. I know I've got several good ones. And maybe there are people on here now who actually got this from me and responded and end up becoming clients. I don't know. No, more you damn. So incoming connections. I think this is what this is what I used to do. We do something very similar now, I think. I'm not quite sure because I came off social media quite some time ago and Holly manages my account and she and Connor concoct things in my voice. So I could be wrong. This might not be timely, but that's what I did, and it worked. Greetings. Thanks for that. I was timely connection to grow my network before we died. The plague and whatnot. As the apocalypse goes, warmly joined people by genius. P.S. Most freelancers struggle with reliably predictably attracting right clients and getting paid in a slightly getting paid for their worth. So here's a book to help you. Download link to the book. Same thing. No pitch, no often required, nothing to buy. It's true. Again, I didn't get any negative response because I can recall. And if I ever did, you know what I would do? I'd get that great big block hammer. They'd be gone. All right? Other people's opinions are irrelevant to me. Even yours, wherever you are. So, email, warm email. This is called 5130. And you've probably seen these on my email list or some similar. I'm looking for 5 business owners who want to double their profit in the next 30 days. The general framework of this is, and why it's called 5130, is 5 people to do one thing in 30 days. The really general framework is I want this number of people to do one thing in this time span. We call it 5130 just to give it a name. So 5 business owners who want to double their profits in the next 30 days. You must be ambitious, willing to ruffle feathers, and unafraid to reject industry norms. If that's you, hit reply and we can talk. This works. This works so well at one of our elite meetings at Stansted. We did this exercise live in the meeting and got everyone to post these 5130s on their LinkedIn. And in the meeting itself, before we broke to go to the bar and get drunk, one of the guys got a solid lead that turned into a 50K contract. What more can I say? Then we have what we call a spear. Hey, you still looking to grow your biz? Hit reply and let me know. Now, yours might be something different. Hey, you still looking to change your hairstyle? You're still looking to redecorate your house. You're still looking to become more mobile. You're still looking to grow a bigger dick. I don't know. You're still looking to change sex, whatever. This is called a spear. And it's called a spear because sharp, pokes are bugs. They work. You don't want to send them every day, but we probably send one of these each a month. And we've got another one to come. So we'll probably send 3 of these very short, sharp, direct emails to outbound marketing every month, as well as the usual shit I send you. Now, this one is called the fring. Hey, what do you need in your business you're not getting right now? Hit reply and let's see if we can figure out how to get it for you. There's nothing particularly salesy about that. It's quintessentially transformational selling. I'm asking questions. Which, what, where, how, who, and why, and when. All right. Open questions. I want to get to the truth of their problems. If it's a no, don't need anything, fine. What I'm not doing is saying, hey, I know you're not doing okay, and I've got this product to fix it. Buy now. We all like that one, don't we? Why is it called the Fring EBG, I hear? Those of you who are familiar with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, two brilliant series, I might add, will remember Gustavo Fring, the guy who owned the chicken thing and was the mastermind of all the drugs making. There's one particular part in Breaking Bad when he's speaking to the rival chemist and Walter White. And the guy's talking about equipment. And I think Fring is saying how much is it and whatever. And the guy's a bit nervous and balking because it's a lot of money. And Gustavo Fring turns to him and he says in a very pleasant but equally menacing way, I want you to have what you need. Brilliant piece of fucking writing that. I want you to have what you need. That is why this is called the Fring. What do you need in your business right now you're not getting? Hit reply and let's see if we can figure out how to get it for you. How could you possibly object to sending anything like that? You could even post that as a post on LinkedIn, you know? So cold email. This is something we're testing right now. So I don't have any results for you because, as I said before, Connor is struggling with the technology. Hey, first name. That's personalization, John. This is a cold email. Upfront, in your face. This is taken. This is a technique, or this approach is what I got from Benjamin Denny when I did one of his boot camps. So I asked him, I don't want to do cold calling, but will your cold calling approach work in email? He said, I think you probably will. So I went on the pro. Fucking brilliant, to tell you. This is a cold email. I know most people like to react to that, so no hard feelings if you swim out and delete it on the road, which they probably do. But at least it stops us getting nasty responses and it disarms people. There's nothing worse. Well, so probably all things worse being burned alive, maybe in the Ukraine, having your house shelled and living in a basement for 6 months with a fucking nappy bucket as a toilet. That's probably pretty bad. But, there are a few things more unpleasant on LinkedIn and other places. Getting a call or a cold email, which try to slide under the radar by, hi, how are you? What weather are you having? I'm just calling about your account at XYZ Corp. I was like, I've got a fucking account at XYZ Corp. Now fuck off. Put the phone down. And I've done that. I say that because they treat me like an idiot. Maybe I am. But if you're willing to give me just a few moments of your time and indulge me, I've got one quick question for you. Are you interested in becoming the go-to business in your niche, like Rolls-Royce the fish in your pond? Deliberately mixed metaphor there. Connor. And they come from Connor, but I think we're sending them from me now. And then Pierce, here's some of the results we get. We send them to a page on our website. I invite you all to look at it yourself. It's a pretty good wall. It's full of fucking testimonials. Okay. So that's what we send. Now, if we don't get a response, we send this. I don't know how much longer it is, a few days later, a week or two later. Unless I'm mistaken, you didn't reply to this email I sent you a couple of days ago. Did you read it? Here it is. Then we just include the email. Okay, verbatim. And the third one is me again, first name. What do I have to do? Why to me? Will you send your copy of my latest book on the house? No cash, no strings, no kidding. Just tell me where to send it. Piece of real paper. Got it. Well, again, they're not pushy, but they're clear, they're assertive, and they will work. And I say they will work. Some combination of words will work because the same process is working for others. Now, pay attention. This is a numbers game. All right. Based on the numbers, fairly conservative numbers we concocted, and they're probably fairly accurate because the work, this is how it's working for someone in a similar business to us. Every 100 emails, we get one reply. We need 10 replies to book one call. So we need 1,000 emails to get out there to get one person on the phone. And we'll probably be able to sell one of those 4 on a £10,000 proposition. Well, that means for every £4,000, every 4,000 emails, we can probably count on one client. Those are conservative numbers. My closing rate at the moment is 66%. So, do the numbers yourself. Again, most people won't do this because it takes more to set up. You have to get an account with something like reply.io. You have to get yourself domains. You have to warm the domains up. You have to write the emails. You have to get the email lists, get them clean, and then start sending them out. it's work. And a lot of people have got this emotional attachment to not doing it. It's squeamish, it's salesy. I'd much rather be my true, raw, authentic, fucking navel gazing self and let people just come to me. That's your choice. That's fine. But there's a word for people like that. That word is poor. Yes, just reply. Let me know if you want to think about, but we'll let you know how this goes in future newsletters, I suppose, when we get some more results in. Cold calling. Well, I'm going to keep this very simple. If you want to learn how to do it, study Benjamin Denny's work. UK's most hated sales trainer.com, LinkedIn.com, Benjamin Denny, 2 N's, EHY. YouTube, that's his YouTube channel. I strongly urge all of you to connect with Benjamin. I've been on his podcast. I've spoken to him a few times. He's a really fucking sound bloke. He's a Kiwi. I tend to like Kiwis anyway, because I like Kiwi society. They're just like Australians, a bit more forthright and upfront. But he's also incredibly fucking skilled at selling. And he's also incredibly fucking smart. The guy is a barrister. He's a trained barrister. You don't get to become a barrister by being stupid. And he's taken what he's learned in, I guess, his cross-examination skills and turned it into selling. I won't say that I've learned everything I've learned, Benjamin. I've not, because we were very closely aligned in our views on how to do this kind of stuff before I met him. But what I will say is he's helped me put a shine on my shit, which I would have not got had I not worked with him, spoken to him, or learned from him. So if you want to learn how to do cold calling, study Benjamin Denny's work. If you want to do cold emailing, I suggest you study Benjamin's work, as well as study my copywriting stuff. Okay? There's no two ways about it. Watch him on YouTube. Fucking brilliant. Really nice, like, top chat. Top banana, as they say. Okay, so now let's get serious about things. Let's do some direct mail. Send a postcard offering a freebie, some kind of lead magnet. Doesn't matter what it is. A book, lead letter, blowjob, whatever. Send the lead magnet to all of those who respond to the freebie, and include a shock and awe package. That's a shock and awe package, John. Well, a shock and awe package is exactly what it says. It's something that induces shock and awe into the recipient. As Gary Bensavenga said, it's too good to throw away. The ideal thing would be a copy of your book, for instance, and maybe a letter, and quite possibly a phone pre-programmed with your number to call, give you a call when you've read a book. Like I said, one of my clients has just done this. Landed yourself a nice little earner. Invite them to call you. Now, this is our flagship outbound marketing system. I'm going to give you in as much detail as is possible in the next few minutes. But this will be the granddaddy of them all. This is what we're putting together. Not for call control, not even for our elite mastermind. This is for the corporate training and the consulting work Connor and I are doing. Okay, we want to go into corps and teach this stuff because it's you can imagine if you get a company, company of business of consultants, someone like Anderson or McKinsey. Is it McKinsey or just Kinsey? I can't remember now. Get into one of those firms or something similar, probably smaller, maybe recruiters, and teach them this stuff. It's got to be worth, putting people through it, a couple of grand ahead, teams of 10, 12. You started to talk tens of thousands. This is what we will do for these people. All right. And it's named M82 after the Barrett M82 sniper's rifle, which can hit a target. I think the world record is something like 2 miles. It was a Canadian, which is ironic considering how polite the Canadians are. Now, this is a framework. So what I'm about to describe is one possible implementation of it. If I hear anyone or see anyone saying, oh yeah, but we can't do that in our business because of this rule, what I'm going to do is enroll you all at the local Catholic church. And I'm going to send you to it so the priest can bugger you senseless. So pay attention to the detail, but don't let that blind you to the principles. I am tired of people focusing on superficial tactical detail. It's been happening for at least 12 years and it's doing my head in. So, step 1, compile a list of people who you only give your left kidney and heart your liver to work with. Go to compass.com. It's a great place to start. Back in the day when I was a lad, didn't have the internet like this. The web was still fledgling. So what I did, I went down to Compass. I went down to the local library and got the Compass directory. Fucking great big thick book, hard thing. Probably cost thousands of pounds to buy it yourself. And I just took some names and addresses of local Well, they're local, mostly in Cambridge and the technology park. I think I got 100. I cold called 20. No, I got 50. That's right. I cold called 27 of them, I believe. Yeah, I cold called 27 of them on a rainy Wednesday morning, never again. And then I sent a sales letter, first sales letter I'd ever written, to the remaining 23. And one of these sales letters landed on the right desk at the right time in front of the right person. Long story short, I got a contract with these guys to do software documentation, which lasted about a year or so on and off. And it was worth about 60 or 70 grand to me. Well, that was a pretty good scratch for someone who's just started out as a freelancer on his first job and knew nothing about marketing. That gave me the will and the wherewithal to learn this stuff through the likes of Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham, and so on. And here I am. So compass.com, some of the greatest people on earth have humble beginnings there. So great place to start. You can then have a look at their website, stalk them on LinkedIn and other social media, and find out as much as you can about them and their businesses as you can. Okay. Please, we're not talking about following their kids to school and taking them for an ice cream afterwards to ask them what mummy and daddy do in the weekends in their bedroom. Well, we're not doing that. What we're doing is we're just saying what kind of hobbies they've got. It's interesting and what people do. So, for instance, you might find out you stalk the EBG because you want to sell me something. You find out John's into things, martial arts, autism stuff, and cycling. Hold that thought. Step 2, create an MHP2 ammo dump. What you do is you go to Viking Direct and you buy those shitty fucking plastic towels and drawers. Dan Kennedy has 43 or 46 in his office. I don't have any nicks. I haven't got any room, but I've got something else instead. We will have something else instead, something a little bit smaller. Basically, then you keep your eyes open. You put it, what you do is with that ammo dump, put a name from this list you compiled of maybe 50, 25 people, put a name on each drawer. And then you keep your eyes open for stuff your research says your MH2 prospects will be interested in. So EBG's name is on a drawer. You see something on autism, maybe in the newspaper, cut it out, put it in the drawer. Maybe you're walking through town, you see a magazine, it's on cycling. No, but it's something a bit different, not just a normal cycling magazine. It's something interesting. Maybe cycling in Ireland, maybe cycling for the autistic. I don't fucking know. But it's something which you know, well, that's actually, John will like that because that's a particularly nuance towards it. So you get the magazine, all right? Maybe you see something again on martial arts and business owners. Oh, John will be interested in that. Martial arts for the over 50s. John will be interested in that too. Okay. You put it in a drawer. End of the month, you've got 50 fucking drawers. Every drawer's got some shit in it, whether it's a book that you bought from Amazon, or whether it's, I don't know, clippings to the newspapers, magazines. And you take the drawer every end of the month. And what you do is, beg your pardon. While you're engaged in step 2, you cold email your prospects individually with an offer of your book for free. You do have a book, right? If you don't, you need to write one. Step 4 is if they do reply, you send them the book. If they don't reply, print out your email and send it with a letter and a copy of the book. You can't lose. The thing is, you don't get away with that. You don't get away that easily. I know this can help you, and here's a copy of my book to prove I'm serious. Step 4A. If the numbers work out, include a cheap mobile phone from Tesco with a £10 credit and your number pre-programmed into it. Tell them to read the book and then call me. Step 5, add infinitum. Every month, you parcel up all the interesting shit you picked out for them and put in your ammo dump and post it to them along with a friendly note. You don't have to sell in this note. Okay? This will work for you. Whether it works out properly or not depends on your signature offer. I'll talk about that in a moment. But this is how Dan Kennedy got me to spend 18K on a day's consulting with it in November. And then another 18K with him, plus a portion of the profits for the event we did in the March. So I was into Dan, the time I had so 218 or 36, and then the profit. So you're looking at between 40 and 50K in one go, all because he did exactly this to me. And his real in was, and it was this simple, right? It was this simple. He saw in one of my newsletters, I'm interested in writing fiction. He sent me a copy of the book he co-wrote with someone else, fiction, with a letter saying, here's some of the pitfalls and advice from me. You know, he even said, unsolicited advice you didn't ask for, obviously, tautology. Unsolicited advice about writing fiction. Here's what I learned along the way. And then, a couple of paragraphs, and then he says, and now to this. Then he pitched me on, I think he was doing the event, and then the base consulting came after. But it was that simple. And now to business. I'm guessing some people would have taken offense, but why would you? Well, you can do the same too. So, and now to your fitness, and now to your home decorating, which is now to business, or now the real reason I'm writing to you. They won't object because you've been buttering them up with all this shit. Variations, there's an infinite number of ways you can do this. Basic premise is the same. Select your list carefully, send something too good to throw away, invite them to call you. Now, PT, for instance, that's right. I suggested this to my PT client. I don't know if he did it yet. He could target affluent postcodes, especially after Christmas, around with a book, literally post it through the door. Imagine you post the book through the door in an envelope, a package with a letter inside it, and the envelope on the outside is addressed to the man of the house. Will it offend some people? Oh, undoubtedly. But the man of the house who gets it and is overweight and wants to lose weight, he'll be going, this is just in time. Tradesmen could target neighbours and had existing clients. So imagine Mrs. Smith, number 35, gets a house decorated or interior design or whatever. The guy or the girl who's done it sends a shock and awe package to number 33 and number 57, and then the 3 houses directly opposite the road. That's straight out of Dan Kennedy's book. Apparently it works a fucking dream. What Mrs. Smith had done to her house, you could have the same. Coaches could target CEOs by email address. You can get email addresses from rockbridge.co. That's where I got the email address for the head guy of Active Campaign. Lo and behold, a few hours after I sent that email, I get the customer services supervisor or manager, I can't remember which one it was, directly emailing me, apologizing profusely, telling me that she's going to take the other 2 people to task and giving me a 50 quid voucher to redeem against my account because they treated me abominably and this should never happen. So there you go. Just one word about this high-end stuff. It's predicated on you having a big offer, big enough offer to sustain it. If you haven't got one, you probably need to develop, right? There's no point in doing all of this if you're PT and you're working £15 an hour. There's no reason for you not to kind of maybe drop leaflets around people's houses, of course. And you could do that, and some people do. Maybe boot camps on the beach as well. But if you're going to get on the shock and awe package where you got your book, got a package, you got a phone, you want to be selling something probably 10K or more. And many of you will be now thinking, shock, I'm 10K. Well, I just did. I've been doing it for years. Well, why can't you? If a short, bold, middle-aged autistic hermit who hates the fucking phone and can't make eye contact very easily and really struggles with the conversation and stuff could do it, I'm pretty sure you can. So the next steps when they're getting touch, you triage them. You effectively triage them in the conversation you have after they reply. Can I help you? Do I want to help? Remember, the quid pro quo is they are offering you an opportunity to talk to them. You're not asking for money here. In these instances, then we don't ask for charge for calls and meetings because the quid pro quo is the opportunity to sell to them. And then we sell to them. Once you triage them, you need to get them into a robust and effective sales process. For high ticket sales, that should be 5K or 5 to 3K or over, not 53K. Beg your pardon. Although it would apply here as well, of course. Anything over maybe 5 grand, 3 grand, something like that. This would generally be a sales call involving transformational selling. All right. It's not impossible to sell this something like 3K with a letter. Connor and I have almost done it. We sold the thing with a letter and then we closed the deal with a 30-minute application interview. And it was literally 30 minutes. And the premise of the call was, we're going to make sure you're not a dickhead and we're going to take your bank details as we speak. And that's what we did. We had one guy, his bank details wouldn't work with Go Cardless and he was panicking. And he sent us with a Revolut on the spot through backs, something like 6K or whatever it was, because there was like a 6K up front, followed by so many payments. It came to 24K over the year. But we did that. And that was mostly sold with a letter. Okay. So it can be done. But for most of us, the easiest and quickest way, and probably the most reliable way, especially if you're not a fucking super copywriter like me, is going to be to do it over the phone, which means you've got to learn to sell. Oh, boo fucking head. Think of it this way. It's an invaluable skill to make you very rich. None of your competitors are going to bother to learn. In which case, why would you not do it? You'd have to be a special kind of retard, wouldn't you? And it's something we actually teach in detailing called control. right on the back end of it, right in toward the last 2 weeks, it really heats up and gets quite intense. And we'll be teaching you selling in detail. Fabulous stuff. Now, an important point, your book, it's not absolutely necessary in the sense that you could without, but I don't recommend it. I really don't. Your book will make all your outbound and inbound marketing easier, more efficient, more effective. It just will. It just does. I mean, I could go into the reasons for this being true. I've done that elsewhere, and especially if you've got a newsletter, it's all in there as well. So just take my word for it right now. You market the book, and the book markets you with your signature offer in mind. Your signature offer being not necessarily your most expensive thing, but the thing that's the most expensive that you sell the most of. That makes sense. So for us, that would be core control. We do have more expensive offers. We have cheaper ones too. But core control is the thing we want to sell because it's the most profitable for us. It's the easiest for us. It's got, what's the word I'm looking for? Economies of scale for us. We can get people the biggest bang for their buck and the biggest bang for our buck as well. So that's our signature offer, core control. Everything else is incidental and either supporting it or leading on from it. But that's our main thing. That's the big fat bit in the middle of the brontosaurus. There's a fucking thought for you, right? This is also something we teach in detail in core control. Now, if you think about that, all this, it's predicated on the business control model. Business control, it's the work you want, when you want, where you want, if you want, at the price you want, and not if you don't want, right? And for that, that's predicated on getting the right clients, the right prices, and making predictable sales. Those three things will solve virtually every business problem you will ever have, including shitty staff, because you can afford to pay for better ones. And you also have objective measurements in place to make sure they're sticking to the rules. And if they're not sticking to the rules, that is cause for termination. I'm talking about their contracts and not their lives, unfortunately. And to do that, to make this happen, we need to attract the right kind of people. We go from being unexceptional to being preeminent. Now, attraction does not necessarily mean inbound marketing, because when you go outbound, you still need to have an attractive offer presentation of yourself and your shit. Okay. So we need to be attractive to the right people. We need to qualify them. That's essentially triage. You know this. Okay. We need to make sure they are the right people. We want to help them. We can help them. And they're going to give them an opportunity for quid pro quo. Otherwise, meaning they're going to pay us in some way, shape or form. And then we need to convert them to sales. Okay. That means selling. We need a process, an orchestrated process. We have a word. You've heard it before, for salespeople who don't use a script or a framework. That word is poor. Okay. One of my good friends, Terry Edwards, is a consummate salesman. He's a really nice guy. He's a people person, nothing like me. Right. And even Terry uses a script. So I would say if it's good enough for Terry, a professional salesman who often does maybe 50 to 80K in a month, it is good enough for the likes of you and me. No question. Right? There's not even a discussion to be had about it. If you are not prepared to use a script, you might as well give up. Okay. Now, we're going around the outside. We've got the right market, the right message, the right medium. All right. Soluble problem. Can I help you? Aligned desires. Do I want to help you? What's the quid pro quo? Transformational dialogue. Established for once and for all. Can I help you? Ask the questions. What's your problem? Is my hammer suitable because you actually have got a nail? Or do I need a screwdriver? And if I don't have a screwdriver, I can't help you. I'll send you someone else. Transformational dialogue. Irresistible outcome. What I'm offering to fix for you is so overwhelming. It would be perverse for you to say no. It would be almost perverse for you to say, no, John, I'm not going to do that because, hey, I'm going to carry on doing what I've been doing and getting the same shitty results. I don't think so. And then indisputable worth. It's so compelling. It's so good. The promise is so huge. It doesn't matter about the price. This is I'm going to give you 20/20 vision in both eyes, near and far, Mr. McCullough, when I replace your lenses with these bits of plastic kind of worth, What do you think that's worth to me 5 years later? I never tire of it. And it only cost me €8,000. Fucking hell, I'd pay €8,000 a year to rent the damn things. That's what we've been focusing on today with outbound marketing. You think that was what I talked about? I talked about audience selection, right market, right message to market match, right medium. Well, there are various media we can use. None of them are passive and involve social media beyond the direct messaging. Now, your current reality and the passage of time will take you to where you end up. that type of pattern, you will end up somewhere. If you carry on doing the same things you've been doing, the same things you've always been doing, you're going to have that at-risk and vulnerable business. And I say that because time is moving on, obviously, and inflation is moving on, and things are moving on beyond you. AI, inflation, government legislation, thermonuclear war is a possibility right now. All these things are possibly going to happen. Now, one of my clients says she hadn't put her prices up in 10 years. Assuming she's got a broadly normal business, usual business, a 35% margin markup, then that means in the last 10 years, her profits have dwindled by 82 point something percent because of inflation. No other reason. And she was complaining about not having enough money. I wonder why that could be. If she'd have increased her prices just at the rate of inflation, she would not be in the mess she's in now. Now imagine how much better it would be if she was charging a premium rate. If you drift, if you do nothing, that's what's going to happen to you. Just what your mother warned. If you take action, make the effort, do the kind of shit we talked about today, that's where you'll be controlled and stable. Now, question here is, how do you jump from the red line to the green line? And then you use the model. Of course, you apply the business control model right at the beginning, and then over and over and over again to stay on the green line, to take you to that controlled and stable state. It's a never ending thing. We're still doing stuff. I told you right near the beginning, we're still working on cold emails. Okay. We still tweak our DMs. We still tweak the way we sell things. I still tweak the sales framework. It's a never ending thing. To me, that's part of the joy of it. How can I make this better? These lines will never be closer together than they are today. The longer you leave it, the riskier, the harder, the costlier it's going to be.
Hey, if you found that video from John today at all helpful, again, I want to remind you that you should join us inside the Well-Fed Renegades. Inside, we've got a fantastic community, mainly of soft service business owners, think agencies, consultants, anyone who has the ability to charge high fees for their stuff at around margins of 80% odd. And we've also got the classroom, where you can get a free copy of the book mentioned in the video, free digital download. We've also got the Death of Social Media course, where we give you even more direct mail campaigns to replace your reliance on social media. And then we've got an area for podcast, Q&As, which we hold inside the group, and trainings just like the one you've already watched. All you need to do is go to school.com/Well-Fed Renegades. Apply to join, and I'll see you on the inside.